Hello, how is everyone doing? It is your fallen angel, and we're back with another video. Today, we are talking about clairaudience. Now, we're going to talk about if you are clairaudient, if you had clairaudient moments and you didn't even know, and what clairaudience truly is, and how it applies to the astral plane. So let's jump right in. Clairaudience is the term for psychic hearing, with the increased sensitivity that comes from one's consistent program of power meditation. One can open one's mind to hear sounds on the astral. In the early stages of opening one's mind, astral sounds can be heard inside of the head. The same is with thoughts. When one progresses, sounds can be heard outside of the head, and much more powerful. Clairaudience usually begins with hearing astral sounds inside of one's mind. So here's some signs that you might be clairaudient yourself. You've heard someone say your name when no one is around. You're sensitive to sound and need quiet time daily. You talk to yourself often. You're highly creative. Music makes you feel connected to your soul. You've heard high-pitched tones or pop sounds in your ears. You talk to imaginary friends or spirits as a child. You love uplifting others and offer advice. You get a sense of what animals are thinking or feeling. You get intuitive signs through songs and things others say. So some of these just might be coincidence, but we understand in the cosmos and in the astral plane, there is no such thing as coincidences. Often this is synchronicities within your own life that you're picking up on. So, in the beginning, at least with my own experience, the things I've heard outside of my head were nonsense that had no value. These occurred when I opened my crown chakra. Like everything else, clairaudience takes time. Meditations to open up the psychic ears and major chakras to be able to access this dimension of astral sound, right? So we see here in the visual, we have a multitude of sounds that you could hear depending on the chakra points that are circling around. When one advances, celestial music can be heard. This is the most beautiful. Satan visited musician Giuseppe Tartini in a dream. He heard Father play the most beautiful violin music, indescribably beautiful. He woke up and wrote down what he could recall, but he could never duplicate the beauty of the music. He named the piece The Devil's Trill. Now, what we must understand is when you can hear clairaudient audio in the astral plane, it is something inconceivably you cannot replicate, right? So the Devil's Trill that was replicated, it's probably more beautiful if you heard it in the astral plane than what he tried to mimic in the physical realm, right? So his ability for clairaudience, something that he saw in a dream, something that he heard in the astral plane, is something that he ended up making a huge violin piece too, right? So this depiction we have here is just a depiction we have of what people would think is a demon, right? But really, we have to understand that this is just a connection to the spirit world and how powerful our human brain is, right? Do not take the depiction to heart. All frequencies of energy have their own sounds. The entire universe runs on vibration. One of the most interesting experiences in the clairaudience is hearing the sounds of the cosmos. So guys, everything is sounds, everything is waves, everything is particles, everything is energy, right? So here we can explain what sounds and vibrations are. All sound is caused by vibrations. How does one sound travel from a vibrating object to your ear? The vibrating object makes the air particles vibrate. The vibrations are passed along air particles to air particle in the form of waves. Sound travels in waves. The air particle makes your eardrums vibrate. Your eardrum makes is made up of three small bones called the ossicles. Vibrate. These are connected to the cochlea that contains thousands of small hairs. These small hairs detect the vibrations. The auditory nerve carries messages to your brain, which interprets as sounds. So we have to understand all objects are emitting some type of vibration, even if we can't hear it. Even physical objects and humans as well are emitting this into the cosmos. All types of sounds and waves that we cannot see through light apparatus because we don't need this for our survival. But we can hear it, right? And when you're more in touch with your chakras and you know how to power meditate, you can hear beyond the physical plane. You hear things within the astral plane that may guide you to certain destinations. The more psychically open one becomes, the more likely he or she is to encounter different sounds. Anything from bells to ringing, buzzing. This is the bioelectricity in ancient Egypt. The bee was the sacred insect. Tutankhamun's rear headdress, coffin, has a bee stinger attached in gold. Flute sounds, roar of the ocean, and others. Certain sounds can be annoying, but with these symptoms will fade away as one's system gets used to the heightened level of the life force. So we must understand that with sound comes life. There's a life behind these sound forces. It is also essential that we are conscious of the music we're listening to, because these frequencies and these waves and these sounds are what's going to impact our emotional state. It's going to impact how we think and how we perceive. So it is always important we're conscious of what we're listening to, we're conscious of what we're thinking, and conscious how our emotions follow these thoughts. Because intrinsically, it is life force. Everything is life force. Even material objects are vibrating at an energy state of mind. They're vibrating energy in this physical plane. The 7 ears relate to the 7 chakras. By focusing one's awareness on them during the meditation and opening them, the ability of clairaudience will manifest. To open them, visualize a star opening up for each one of the shining brightly. After this, increase the brilliance and diameter. Opening these energy points will enable one's mind to hear the astral and unlock pathways for healing energy to circulate. This can be helpful for people who have problems with bad eyesight, hearing, headaches, and other problems. Meditating on both the psychic eye and ear points is very powerful for receiving messages from the astral. Right, guys? So, when we have our crown chakra lit up, we are going to hear things, we are going to see things in the astral plane. Right? This is known as time-space, also known as ether, or maybe kether. Okay? So this is important that we understand that the 7 ears also apply to the 7 chakras. This is how people are clairaudient in nature, right? They can sense things. When they can sense emotional states, they could feel hatred. They could see it. They could feel it. They can hear it without even understanding it, right? You know, when you ever get a sense of something's wrong, but you really don't know what it is yet, but you know something is off about something or someone. You could just tell. This is clairaudience in full display. Remember, if you hear anything you don't like, just tune it off and shut it off. So guys, when you're in the astral plane and you're really deeply opening the diameter of your 7 ears and you're hearing things beyond belief, if you don't like what you're hearing, you can always shut it off, because your hearing is very acute and it could pick up so many different sounds and frequencies when you're in the astral plane. So it is essential that if you hear something you don't like, or your thoughts are manifesting something that you're fearing of, you can always shut it off, okay? So this is clairaudience explained, and how this has to do with astral projection and how people may be clairaudient and they don't even know this. So if you guys have any questions, leave it down in the comments. Make sure to leave a like on the video. And this is your fallen angel, and I am out.